I recently had the opportunity to have a brain-based learning expert observe my class, and I was thrilled to have someone observe my class after a year full of welcome observation. After seeing my class, the observer noticed some positives and some areas where improvement could be made in regards to reaching both left and right brain learners. The observer noted that the areas she would be focusing on the most are approach, priming or pre-exposure, novelty, and motivational strategies. The class she came to see was my first period freshman transitions class. I was introducing a new project where the kids would be randomly assigned jobs and life situations, and they would have to create a budget for 6 months according to those two criteria. The goal was for students to learn about how level of education can affect their future and to teach them a bit of financial literacy as well. Because my school is a UBD or Understanding by Design school, my lesson begins before class even starts with what is called backwards planning. I started with the essential question that I wanted my students to be able to answer at the end of the unit. How does financial literacy affect my life? Then I built off of that by adding in the activities and the introductory lecture. My observer says that this day was primarily left-brained. However, the overall lesson engages the whole brain. The first day is primarily lecture-based, with a PowerPoint and a handout. We go over the structure of the project, and I walk students through a step-by-step order of operations for when each part of the project is due. In an effort to engage the right brain, I incorporate pictures in the slides, interject further examples that aren't on the slide, and incorporated opportunities for interactions. For example, when I got to the slide about high school pay versus college undergraduate pay and graduate pay, I put 4 different levels of pay on the slide and had kids guess which went in each category. For priming or pre-exposure, we watched a video from The Cosby Show where Cliff talks to Theo about the real world and finance using Monopoly money. I had students do a free write reflecting on whether the lesson the father was teaching the son was realistic and to explain any experience they had handling their own or their family's finances. The novelty of the lesson comes in with the hook. The hook is another UBD principle where the instructor builds in something that will hook the learner into wanting to know what's coming next. The Cosby Show clip and the novelty of the project itself help with that. During the lecture, I explained what life situations are. Students will randomly be assigned life situations such as marital status and children, but there will also be chance life situations where students will draw cards that will affect their budgets. For example, they may win the lottery or they may have to pay for braces for their kids. This captured the students' imaginations and kept them invested in the project. The motivational aspect of the project is somewhat lacking, I can admit. There's an attempt at intrinsic motivation by using the initial hook to keep students motivated to see it through. The project relates to real life, and the students see value in that, but there isn't much else to keep students motivated. In the end, there's much to be improved on. The observer had the following to say. There needs to be more of a whole brain approach to the lecture by giving students more opportunities to be a part of the presentation, thus breaking up the monotony of one person speaking. Because UBD stresses the ability to connect lessons to the students' lives, the lesson does a good job in the priming category. It connects with their prior knowledge, and it also gives them an opportunity to express that. Novelty is also built into the project because many students have zero experience in financial literacy, and it is evident in their questions and the way that they handle their budgets. Motivation needs to be improved, however, perhaps by giving students more choice in their destinies in the project, by maybe adding a portion where they can choose their careers and compare to the randomly assigned one. Giving students more ownership will result in a more motivated experience. With these tips from the observer, I hope to make my class more whole brain friendly and more effective as a result.